up everybody, welcome to Dear Esther. This is the Landmark edition, and this game was made by Secret Room, who also made Still Wakes Deep. As you can probably tell already, it gives me very Still Wakes Deep vibes, which is now 75% on Steam. Not sponsored, just something cool, not dollars, hang on, it's $7 on Steam, which I found really neat. So let's get started, because I really recommend giving Still Wakes Deep a play. That's not really sponsored. Jeez. You know what? Let me play in a movie or something.
Dear Esther, I've lost track of how long I've been here and how many visits I have made overall. Certainly the landmarks are now so familiar to me that I have to remind myself to actually see the forms and shapes in front of me. I could stumble blind across these rocks, the edges of these precipices, without fear of missing my step and plummeting down to sea. Besides, I have always considered that if one is to fall, it is critical to keep one's eyes firmly open.
Is this game life mod? Looks like it. Dude. Rude. What is that? This game is pretty short. Relatively short, I'd say. So I've heard. Like 40 minutes, maybe? Interesting walking sim. I'll get on mine. I'm just curious. I'm trying to check this thing very first, actually. It's the same way. Well,
Donnelly reported the legend of the hermit, a holy man who sought solitude in its most pure form. Allegedly, he rode here from the mainland in a boat without a bottom, so all the creatures of the sea could rise at night to converse with him. How disappointed he must have been with their chatter. Perhaps now, when all that haunts the ocean is the rubbish dumped from the tankers, he'd find more peace. They say he threw his arms wide in a valley on the south side, and the cliff opened up to provide him shelter. They say he died of fever 116 years later. The shepherds left gifts for him at the mouth of the cave, but Donnelly records they never claimed to have seen him. I have visited the cave and I have left my gifts, but like them, I appear to be an unworthy subject of his solitude.
okay. There was a man who liked to eat. Very homeless home. What I got from that.
There was once talk of a wind farm out here, away from the rage and the intolerance of the masses. The sea, they said, is too rough for the turbines to stand. They clearly never came here to experience the becalming for themselves. Personally, I would have supported it. Turbines would be a fitting contemporary refuge for a hermit. The revolution and the permanence.
Who's this? I'm pretty sure this is just
I have found the ship's manifest, crumpled and waterlogged under a stash of paint cans. It tells me that along with this present cargo, there was a large quantity of antacid yogurt bound for the European market. It must have washed out to sea. God knows there are no longer gulls or goats here to eat it.
drowning. I'm drowning. No. Okay. The water's bad. Is it turning into night? Or am I just hallucinating? I go up here. Good to know.
A wonderful sight. The moon cresting the junction between the cliff path and the stone circle. It cast a shadow of the ridge across the beach, all the world as if you had signed your name in untidy handwriting.
This place is nice though. I was in Scotland this summer. Or, you know, the summer of 2025. I don't know when this releases. Probably 2026 by now.
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see much of the. I did get to see a lot of it. A lot of the nature. I didn't mind. Okay. It's just asleep most of the time.
We are not like Lot's wife, you and I. We feel no particular need to turn back. There's nothing to be seen if we did. No tired old man parting the cliffs with his arms. No gifts or Bibles laid out on the sand for the taking. No tides turning or the shrieking gulls overhead. The bones of the hermit are no longer laid out for the taking. I have stolen them away to the guts of this island, where the passages all run to black, and where we can light each other's faces by their strange luminescence.
Lighthouse. Is that where we're going? The chapter is called Lighthouse, so imagine it is.
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old.
That's right.
Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life. This hermit, this seer, this distant historian of bones and old bread, where did he vanish to? Why? Asked the farmers. Why? Asked Jakobsen. Why bother with your visions at all if you're just to throw your arms up at the cliff and let it close in behind you and seal you into the belly of the island, a museum shut to all but the most devoted?
Yeah, that is a good question. It's a good thing to ask why. Which are really pretty, by the way, but worth staying there. It's gonna be cool. Let's see. If you look up close, it doesn't obviously it doesn't look as impressive, but it looks good. Especially for its time. I think it's really long for Half-Life. I'm not sure. But it does look like it. Kind of like Stanley Parable, and yeah, it was turned into its own game.
He still maintains he wasn't drunk, but tired. I can't make the judgment or the distinction anymore. I was drunk when I landed here, and tired too. I walked up the cliff path in near darkness and camped in the bay where the trawler lies beached. It was only at dawn that I saw the bothy and decided to make my temporary lodgings there. I was expecting just the aerial and a transmitter stashed in a weatherproof box somewhere on the mount. It had an air of uneasy permanence to it. Like all the other buildings here, erosion seems to have evaded it completely.
This is old monument, much more Stonehenge, except without the edge. So it's really the stone hut. I get it. That's fine. Really, I'm a funny person. I would say so. I am pinnacle of funniness. Not, counting my monotone voice, which isn't as monotone as I sound like when I speak, only on recordings. It's strange, personally. Loading screen.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome break services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
No, not a pirate ship, it's a ship. like my money back. Even though it's not about...
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
Okay. It's not that I think the game is bad when I'm on it. I just... You know, I'm done with the game, so why not get my money back for it? I don't know, is that selfish? Is that bad that I'm doing that? Or the developers must do it. It doesn't really matter, I think. Steam doesn't take the money away from the developers. It only, like...
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Oh... Did Esther die of a drunk driver? That's what you're trying to say? What is this? Thank God? It's you I saw. Oh, you're not a person. You're a blinker in the water. I don't know what you're called. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna call you a blinker. That is not racially motivated.
All night the boy has kept me lucid.
The boy.
I sat, when I was at the very edge of despair, when I thought I would never unlock the secret of the island, I sat at the edge, and I watched the idiot boy blink through the night. He is mute, and he is retarded, and he has no thought in his metal head but to blink each wave and each minute aside until the morning comes and renders him blind as well as deaf-mute. In many ways, we have much in common.
Okay. This game is all walking. I don't like that. Click off the video. I'm gonna play the games I like, and I'm gonna enjoy them. Alright? Okay, nobody watches these videos anyway. Go watch my shorts. Why would you do that? That's creepy. Why are my shorts so watchable? Night. No idea. You don't know what it is. But then why would I go back? That's the question. Ah, no. Do I go back? I don't know. I don't know if you want to go back. I think I'm gonna go back. Go back. There's nothing about it you can do. I think. Found out where to go, but forgot to unpause. I mean, I pressed the button. I pressed it. Notice that I didn't lose much footage. Just found a very big hole. I probably have like multiple recordings open.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him, either.
Oh, that's sad.
Inventory. A trestle table we spread wallpaper on in our first home. A folding chair, I laughed at you for bringing camping in the lakes. I was uncomfortable later and you laughed then. This diary, the bed with the broken springs. Once asleep you have to remember not to dream. A change of clothes, Donnelly's book, stolen from Edinburgh Library on the way here. I will burn them all on the last morning and make an aerial of my own.
When I was in Scotland, I got to see some pretty cool mountains. Didn't get to meet as many people with the accent as I hoped, but there were some.
Jakobsen's ribcage, they told Donnelly, was deformed, the result of some birth defect or perhaps a traumatic injury as a child. Brittle and overblown it was, and desperately light. Perhaps it was this that finally did for him, unable to contain the shattering of his heart. In half-light, his skeleton a discarded prop.
Never mind.
A false and calcified seabird.
Oh. Did not look more like a die. I'll keep that noted.
They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. All around him, small flowers were reaching for the weak sun. The goats had adjusted happily to life without a shepherd and were grazing freely about the valley. Donnelly reports they hurled the body in fear and disgust down the shaft, but I cannot corroborate this story. Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Yes, my cave first. Oh!
Donnelly did not pass through the caves. From here on in, his guidance, unreliable as it is gone from me. I understand now that it is between the two of us, and whatever correspondence can be drawn from the wet rocks.
There's that algae. Caves are pretty cool. Terrifying too. That's like a hole.
There is no other direction, no other exit from this motorway. Speeding past this junction, I saw you waiting at the roadside, a one last drink in your trembled hands.
down more? Is that what we're going to do? Can. Let's swim upwards. You can do that too. That as well. Would have been nice to know earlier, but you know, if I'm gonna drown, then I might as well drown. At least I will force me to die. I have your lungs filled with water, choking as your life flashes before you, desperate to breathe in. You can't. It's me. Of course I can. It's a different level, but philosopher, that's the one. Yeah, philosopher. Not a mature, but philosopher nonetheless. Because I know I wouldn't die. I just humbled everything down. It's pretty cool. It's been a long time since the narrator said something. Really nothing to say. What can I say when you're inside the cave?
If the caves are my guts, this must be the place where the stones are first formed. The bacteria phosphoresce and rise, singing through the tunnels. Everything here is bound by the rise and fall, like a tide. Perhaps the whole island is actually underwater.
It would be cool, like a cave without a ceiling. If that makes sense. Cave without the inside of the cave. Like you have this ground, but not the top parts. You have like these bridges in the air. Not in the air. Like you also have sunlight, natural lighting and plants. Pretty sure it does exist. Because that goes up. Can't go left. Never mind, I'm gonna go right because that goes down.
When I was coming round from the operation, I remember the light they shone in my eyes to check for pupil contraction. It was like staring up at a moonlit sky from the bottom of a well. People moved at the summit, but I could not tell if you were one of them.
Behold, Damascus. I can't read Gaelic. Away from being acting. certain kind of type vibe you can't really see often. Air pocket. Not even an air pocket, you just get. Oh, and that's all deeper. Oh, it's not a cave. I think I'm drowning. It's a bed. Oh, right, my wife, Esther. Just keep going. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Alright, fish now. That one's going on. And I'm dead. Okay. There we go. Oh no! Oh, gravity. Oh, physics. I can't handle it. Oh, what is that? It's the shining light at the end of the tunnel. There must be a freight train on my way. Oh, now it's dark. Never mind. Do I go? I guess I go. Right?
I wish I could have known Donnelly in this place. We would have had so much to debate. Did he paint these stones or did I? Who left the pots in the hut by the jetty? Who formed the museum under the sea? Who fell silently to his death into the frozen waters? Who erected this godforsaken aerial in the first place? Did this whole island rise to the surface of my stomach, forcing the gulls to take flight?
Who knows? It's a dilemma. Dilemma. A big question. What's a word for that? Is there a word for it? Big question. I don't know. Dictionary. So I'm
Dear
asking
Esther,
you.
I find each step harder and heavier. I drag Donnelly's corpse on my back across these rocks, and all I hear are his whispers of guilt, his reminders, his burnt letters, his neatly folded clothes. He tells me I was not drunk at all.
What's this? Who knows? say something about pain. It's just something about pain. I mean, it is pain, but I'm not gonna say something.
There were chemical diagrams on the mug he gave me coffee in, sticky at the handle where his hands shook. He worked for a pharmaceutical company with an office based on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. He'd been travelling back from a sales conference in Exeter, forming a strategic vision for the peddling of antacid yogurt to the European market. You could trace the connections with your finger, join the dots, and whole new compounds would be summoned into activity. From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
Do I join the pieces? Oh. Okay. Never mind. It wasn't easy to see, that's all. I don't think there isn't. There isn't. That's because there's stakes that I didn't see. Oh, that is, I didn't notice that. Wow. There's wow. That was over there. I'm over here. Am I gonna climb that? It looks like I am. Please don't tell me I'm gonna. I appreciate walking set, but you know, that's too much walking for
When Paul keeled over dead on the road to Damascus, they resuscitated him by hitting him in the chest with stones gathered by the roadside. He was lifeless for 21 minutes, certainly long enough for the oxygen levels in his brain to have decreased and caused hallucinations and delusions of transcendence. I'm running out of painkillers, and the moon has become almost unbearably bright.
Who is that? Who are you? I can't say hello to you. You're obviously there. I like to quiet.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
And as he was proceeding on his journey, there's more text over there. We are climbing the mountain. Yeah, I think about it. Silly, I can't read that. And was coming near something, and he was.
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
Without sight. Something changed about that.
The stones in my stomach will weigh me down and ensure my descent is true and straight. I will break through the fog of these godforsaken pills and achieve clarity. All my functions are clogged, all my veins are choked. If my leg doesn't rot off before I reach the summit, it will be a miracle. There are 21 connections in the circuit diagram of the anti-lock brakes. There are 21 species of gull inhabiting these islands. It is 21 miles between the Sandford Junction and the turn-off for home. All these things cannot, will not be a coincidence. With panic, deaf with the roar of the caged traffic, heart stopped on the road to Damascus. Paul sat at the roadside, hunched up like a gull, like a bloody gull, as useless and as doomed as a syphilitic cartographer, a dying goat herd, an infected leg, a kidney stone, blocking the traffic bound for Sandford and Exeter. He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all. All his roads and his tunnels and his paths led inevitably to this moment of impact. This is not a recorded natural condition. He should not be sat there with his chemicals and his circuit diagrams. He should not be sat there at all.
So I'm playing as Paul, I'm guessing. Okay, this is my story breakdown. Playing as Paul, I was drunk driving, and Esther got killed because of it. Now I'm here for a summit, to go to the summit, for a reason I do not know. That's my story breakdown. Feel free to use it as an official story wiki.
We will leave twin vapor trails in the air, white lines etched into these rocks. Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. there will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an aerial, a beacon, that they will not forget you. We've always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jacobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
Fly! Hallelujah! Praise me, Lord! Also, I forgot to say this, but I'm supposed to be reviewing this game for English. Oh.
Come back.
Right. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope to see you all later, and bye bye.